How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Jeremy Games. This is a Watcher of Realms video, and today we are talking about gear. Specifically about how to select the right gear to keep and how to get rid of the gear that you're not going to need so that you can turn it into that precious commodity we love to call gold, right? That's the best way and the most effective way to increase your account and your gold rather than farming the gold keeps. It's just not as good a value to do that because the gold is great and you can upgrade gear. However, you're not getting gear to upgrade. So unless you're just stacked flush with a bunch of gear that you just need gold for, my recommendation, and I believe all the other content creators and really aficionados on this game would agree, that farming for gear is the best way to make gold and also get the gear you want to then upgrade. So let's dive right into the video. All right, so when we're talking about gear, we can fall into a trap where we go online and we look at, like, Cold Brew just did an awesome video on how he goes through and approaches his gear. One thing I want to be very careful of is I want to throw out a disclaimer that not all gear cleanses are created equally, right? Everyone's at different parts of the game, and therefore, different needs are there, right? So when we look at, what we need, like heroes, right? I got a Setram, I got Zilla2, Hex, Lasir. My needs might be different than someone who just pulled their first Edril, right? And you don't have these champions. So for me just to say, do this, really would do you a disservice. What I want to focus on, kind of like my last video, is focusing on kind of the mindset and what you should be thinking about while you're deciding what gear to cleanse. So without further ado, one thing that's really kind of annoying is you have to go into the champion, go into that champion's gear, and then click on the gear. So I have been working on farming gear for this Oracle's Trial. Right now, I'm sitting number one. This guy has been pushing me really hard. It seems like he's in a different time zone because in the evening, all of a sudden, his score starts going up, and then during the day, mine goes up, and so we've been battling out. But that's worth 5 there. But this is a double dip, if you will, because I'm also looking for the Aeon fusion, right? So I'm looking for, I'd like to get the 10 better than 7. I'd rather have the 5 summons versus the 250 gems at this point, because I still need champions. I still don't have every one that I really feel like I need to progress. So I'm still looking at summoning. But that coincides with Brave Conquest. And this one, I'm looking, I already got the Aeon there, but I'm looking for the 3 summons there. I'm actually only 85 points away from getting that. So I'm double dipping and getting the fragments of Aeon here, getting the extra rewards, and also trying to win and get fragments over here. So I have been specifically farming Gear Raid 2. And if we jump over into our raids and we go to Gear Raid and we go to Gear Raid 2, I have made it to stage 12. Now, as of today, I have gotten my Zilla2 maxed out to level 60. So I might be trying to push this up to 13. I know that a lot of people, this is kind of the first real sweet spot of farming. So that's on the agenda. But what I have available to me is stage 12. So the other thing I want to encourage you, because you'll hear a lot. Don't farm any gear. Just buy it from the shop. Don't farm gear until you hit stage 19. Don't do that. That's silly. You need to farm gear whenever you need to increase your account. Okay? And if that means all you have is stage 9 and you need legendary gear, one thing, and maybe Fastidious, if you watch this video, or maybe someone can pose this to Fastidious, maybe I will, he just did an awesome look at actual summon rates and how they're not equal in this game. Fascinating stuff. Lots of numbers, nerdy stat stuff. But it has been said that when you buy gear from the shop, it is made to not roll as good as gear you earn from these. So even though you can go in there and purchase with your precious gold some of that gear, it might actually be better to try to farm it from here. And that might be a test that we ask Fastidious to run, is does it statistically roll worse if you buy it from the shop? I'd be really curious on that, but I have a feeling it does, because most of the gear I purchased from the shop rolled garbage rolls, all blue. And a lot of the stuff that I'm farming from here is rolling at least in the purple. I do not think I've had one legendary roll on any piece of gear. But this is as high as I've gotten, and can, the battles are really quick. And there was one specific piece of gear that really stood out here. They have Fatality. 3-piece increases attack by 3% and ignores 12% of the target's defense and magic resistance. So one of the other content creators said this is a great piece, or a great set for Zillitu. And I would imagine anyone that is going to benefit from a damage increase and an ignored defense, those are huge things over on Raid Shadow Legends where I come from. So I started farming looking for these pieces. And, granted, look at, you get the amulets here. Like with this one, I'm only getting bangles with the ancients right here. So you can bump that up by going up. You can get the ancient amulets. You get the chest, the random demon soldier chest. But this for me was good enough because I can farm it quickly. I'm looking for fatality gear so that I can get my champions to where I can then get into 13, 14, and 15. And so what I encourage everyone to do is go as far as you absolutely can to where you literally cannot surpass. And probably the best thing that you can do, and Murder Inc. might disagree, and I know he did a whole video on artifacts being the single fastest way to increase your BP. I don't necessarily agree. At least that's not been the case for me, because Salazar absolutely wrecks me in AMR. But this one I can get higher and I can get better gear for my heroes, and that has single-handedly helped me progress and push farther than any other thing that I can recall. So I farm where you can farm that's going to get you the best chance to get gear that's going to get you to the next level. But push and save resources until you get to that stopping point. Okay, enough said. This video is about cleansing gear for gold, right? So let's jump into that. Let's jump back over here. Got to go through heroes, get into gear. All right. So what I tend to do and what I look for is the stats that I want. Now, even though these are mythic pieces, right? They can roll up to 16. I don't have the gold resources. And I'm not able to farm as much of the best gear to sell for the most amount of gold, right? And so the level 16 is not a priority for me in the early to mid game. So what I am looking for, and I love that Cold Brew pointed this out in his video. Shout out to Cold Brew. Obviously, you guys probably already following him if you're finding my content, but go follow him. He's a wealth of knowledge. But this thumbs up, don't fall for it, right? So this one here, let's just look at this particular piece. Now, the sticks, it gives AoE damage plus 18%. So if you're mage heavy, or if you're struggling to get enough damage out of your mages that are doing AoE damage, you might look at this piece. I right now do not need this type of piece, and a lot of people knowing that you need attack percentage. I think you'll hear that across the board. Attack percentage is the king when it comes to DPS, and DPS is king in this game right now. But attack bonus, you might say, well, that's what you want, a mythic gear with attack bonus. However, I look at the first 3 stats because it is not that expensive in terms of gold to take it to level 12. Level 8, even better. Because in Raid, and this is something that I'm just figuring out, because in Raid, you rolled and it randomly just popped an extra hit on any one of the 4. But this one, you're going to get all that you're going to get as soon as it rolls. So if I want HP, I know that it's going to hit. It's going to give me whatever the percentage is when I roll it, and it's not going to give me any more. Now, when I'm looking at this, I don't just want attack bonus. I want more. I want crit rate. I want attack. And, if maybe I can, early to mid game, forgo some crit rate, maybe for attack speed or rage regen. But my priorities are attack bonus, attack, and crit rate for when we're talking DPS. Now, for tanks, you might be looking for HP. If you're looking for your Vortex, because he's an HP based healer, you might be looking for HP in these and as a main stat. But generally speaking, what's going to progress you through the story and through campaign and through most of these levels is just pure DPS. So when I look at this, the attack bonus is great, but it doesn't really bring much else. If you were looking at just speeding up, maybe like a Dolores with the attack speed, and she needs attack bonus, you might consider this if you don't have a better piece. However, this piece is not looking like anything I want, so it goes in the bin. Next one, rage regen. You might want to keep a couple, but it only offers attack bonus on the level 12. Okay, I don't want to roll to 12 just to find out this is a blue roll. So because there's the other two things are nothing that I'm looking for, it's going in the trash. Crit damage. Now, crit damage is something you might want to consider late game, because this one also brings attack bonus and attack. However, if you don't have crit rate, the crit damage isn't going to do you much good. So this might be worth rolling to 12 to see what the attack looks like. For a champion that might already have enough crit rate, but it's hard to get 100% crit rate because you got to get literally like 20% on all 5 pieces. So crit rate's very hard to come by. So this one here, I'm probably going to roll this one for now. So I'm not going to throw that one because I do have Hex and Cetrum with quite a bit of crit rate that I could probably sacrifice for some of that crit damage. HP flat stat, I ain't keeping it, even though it's got attack bonus, attack speed. The crit rates here, it's going to cost me way too much to see if the crit rate's worth a crap. So I like to see crit rate in the first 2. So that one's going in the bin. Next up, healing effect does have attack bonus, but then it jumps to defense bonus and then HP flat on the level 12. So even though I would like to do something like this, I'd rather see an HP percent and an HP up here for my Vortex. So for that reason, I'm out. When we look at this one here, flat stat HP, attack bonus, crit, it just doesn't have what I want in these top 3. No crit rate, no attack. So I don't need a flat stat HP. It goes in the trash. HP bonus. Now I'm looking for like a Vortex. So I'm always having a hero in mind when I see the primary stat. Attack speed is good for Vortex, but then it goes defense. Rage regen might be good, but ultimately I don't need this piece for my Vortex, so it's going in the trash. Flat stat attack, nothing worth a crap there. HP flat stat, it does have attack, crit rate, and crit damage. But I really don't have anything that's HP based that I need flat stat attack and crit rate crit damage. So it's going in the bin. Flat defense. It has HP, crit damage, crit rate, and attack speed. Really nothing in the attack realm that I want. It's going in the trash. Now, these ones I do consider, especially if you're early game. You'll hear like a lot of the content creators say, don't throw your flat stats in the early game because your early heroes have such low base stats that the percentage scales off the base stat. And if the stat's low, that percentage might actually be less than the flat stat. So I would actually roll this one. Because I could maybe use that attack, but then the first one is attack bonus. So if this rolls really hot, that could be great for someone that can do damage that I want to add a little defense to, and maybe even add crit damage later. So that's one I would actually keep and at least roll to see what that attack bonus looks like. Here we go. We got attack bonus and we got rage regen, but then defense bonus, healing effect. I really don't need anyone for that. Attack bonus, crit damage, attack speed, and attack. So this one is compelling. Again, crit damage is not as important as crit rate, because if you don't have crit rate, the crit damage isn't going to do anything for you. But it's got the attack bonus as the primary, attack speed, and attack. So this would be a good one to keep and roll. Here we got a defense flat stat, crit damage, bonus, crit rate. Nothing here I want, right? So that's kind of like, that's what my mind is saying, you know, as I go through it. I'm trying to keep my heroes in mind as I look at, okay, defense, who benefits from that? Hardly anyone. Is there any stats in the top 3? As you get mid to end game, then you can start considering this 16, but it's going to cost you all the gold you have to roll enough pieces for all your heroes on all your different teams to 12. Now, obviously, in the storyline, you have to equip a champion with 5 pieces of level 16 gear, which is literally where I'm stuck right now. So I will be rolling some pieces to 16, and so I will have to consider that for that. But early to mid game, you should be focusing on who benefits from the primary stat, and do the first 3 stats have any benefit. And if it's not enough, you need to trash it for better gear. Right? So HP bonus does have attack bonus, but it has extra HP and some defense. So that would give Mr. Vortex some survivability and more HP to speak of. So I could roll that at least to 8, to 8 to see, or excuse me, to 4 to see how the HP rolls out. Attack bonus, healing and attack and crit damage. So this one might be a really good one for Dolores, right? Because she is a healer. Although her heals are pretty weak, adding healing effect can help with that. And then obviously she needs to be stacked with attack. And then if you take this to 16, then you give her some rage regen. So this would be a perfect piece for Dolores. Defense, attack speed, attack bonus, nothing here. So anyhow, I don't want this video to go on any longer. You guys hopefully get the idea, because it's more about a mindset than what should I do as a blanket statement in selling gear for gold. But you should be farming and cleansing your gear every single day, and then rolling at least to 12 the pieces that you really, really think can benefit your heroes. But like I said, you go into each one and just look at the top 3 if you're early to mid game. And then, you know, obviously this is a consideration closer to mid to end game, or mid to late into the end game. So I hope that helps you guys in cleansing your gear, maybe give you a little bit more to think about. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, comment on the video, let me know your thoughts. Do you have any specific things that you're looking for, ways that you cleanse your gear? Share it with the class, as it'll benefit anyone who reads through the comments. And then also make sure you turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.